Yeah, Cryptid Court is a discussion, so you should use the other intro, not the other. We have two intros for Cryptid Court. I want the one where
Do
they
we?
shake hands. Yeah, you used it once and you never
Oh, I
used
have
it
no
again.
idea where I saved that.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway.
I'll see if I can find it. Anyway, so the way this works is whenever we do a podcast, we put up a poll of three different cryptids that we get from the random cryptid generator, and people can vote on which one they want us to discuss or sometimes debate. And this time, speaking of wolves, we're doing the Andean wolf.
So, do you want to give the background info?
Sure, here are just a few brief notes. So, this animal was discovered in 1927 by Lorenz Hagenbeck. There was basically someone was selling these three different pelts. He purchased one. This is in Argentina, and the dealer said it came from a wild dog in the Andes. The pelt was then sent to Munich. In 1935, a German mammalologist examined the skull, said it was similar to a maned wolf, which isn't a wolf, but he said it was similar to that but larger. The skull has been lost since then. We still have the pelt. In 1940, the pelt was examined, and a couple of zoologists said that it was a new genus. However, a lot of people disagreed and thought that it was just a domestic dog. In 1954, another zoologist compared a hair from the pelt of the Andean wolf to a variety of different canids, found strong similarities between the supposed wolf and a German shepherd. They also tried to do a DNA analysis in 2000, but the DNA was contaminated with samples of human, dog, and wolf DNA, so there's not really any good evidence from that.
I'll go over some theories of some explanations for all the facts. It could be a melanistic maned wolf. Um, it could be a domestic dog. It could be a hybrid of domestic dog and maned wolf. The guy Lorenz, who originally got the pelt and was showing it around, was a big fan of animal hybridization, apparently. So it could have even been him who bred them, or he could have just been shown it by someone and they told him it was something else, or he could have been lying and the other person showed him a hybrid animal. So there are lots of possibilities with that, like where it came from. And then also, there's the fact that we have a pelt and a skull. Those two things don't have to be the same. Like, it's possible that the pelt was a German Shepherd and the maned wolf skull was added to it. And people acted like it was the same, but it's not. Do you have any, like, opinions on this?
Not really. I feel like the details are so sketchy, and maybe like the most basic explanation is the most likely one. Like maybe it was just a dog pelt.
Well, I think another thing is there's no other attestations of this. There's just this one pelt and this one skull. Like, why are there no local legends? Why are there no more sightings? You know?
Yeah, no
Um,
footprints, no nothing.
yeah, my theory is okay, this actually isn't my theory, it's just another thought I have. Um, so we don't know where the pelt came from, because he just bought it from someone and the person he bought it from said it was from the Andes, right?
Mm,
So it could have been from anywhere.
yeah,
But let's say it really was found from the Andes, um, where again there are no records of this animal living, a similar animal. That's only unusual because the Andes is outside of the usual range of the maned wolf, which is lowland prairie forests wetlands. So the maned wolf doesn't really live in the mountains. However, dogs are very adaptable creatures, so I was wondering, like, is it not possible for it to be a maned wolf or maybe a natural maned wolf dog hybrid that just wandered off from the group and was like in the mountains for some reason? Even if that's if we assume that it actually is from the Andes, which again isn't clear.
yeah,
Because you don't have to go saying that it's a new animal. It could just be a weird maned wolf that was in a weird place, right?
yeah. It's true. And it is, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe the skull was added separately to try and confuse people because isn't there a lot of hoaxes like that where they try to prove, or they try to make it seem like they found a new like ape and they like got an orangutan jaw and like stuck a bunch of human teeth in it or something.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that.
Yeah, me too.
Do it all the time.
Just can't get enough.
Um,
But I think dog is just like the most obvious,
yeah.
the most boring answer, but I feel like the most obvious answer is probably the most likely.
Yeah, I think the most important point to me is the unknown provenance of the sample, which is, again, it was traded by at some random like dealer, purchased by a dealer or from a dealer in Buenos Aires,
Hmm.
uh, which is not in the Andes. And then they're like, it was found in the Andes. And then the guy Lorenz, who is already like super into weird animal stuff, was like, yeah, and I'm gonna tell all my friends. That is not a compelling. I'm not convinced at all. You know?
Yeah, there is something a little bit suspicious that like a person who would be looking for a new species just happened to talk to like some owner. It's like, do you have it? Because I can imagine the conversation. Like, do you have any pelts of like any interesting animals or anything, or any
Yeah.
animals that are yet to be
Yeah, and he just like
whatever?
had this. He just had this like German Shepherd that he killed because it was on his property and like attacking his sheep or something. And he's all like, "Oh yeah, I've got this. It's perfect for what you want. It's from." And then he thinks, "Where's a weird place for it to be from? Oh yeah, it's from the Andes." Like he's just
Yeah,
scamming him, possibly. Who knows?
yeah.
If you have any thoughts, listeners, please let us know. But I feel like the Mythbusters right now. I feel like I want to say like this one is busted. You know?
Yeah, there's just so little to go on. There is a separate fox species that lives in the Andes that is sometimes given the name an Andean wolf. That's
Yeah, that one's real.
yeah, that's a completely separate thing. It's a known species.
By the way, I'm looking at Buenos Aires on a map.
Yeah,
It's like coastal on the east coast, and the Andes are on the west. It would take like, let's say you're walking because they didn't. When was this?
1930s,
Oh,
I
they
think.
had cars. They had cars. I'm sorry. I thought it was like the 1800s.
Oh, 1927 is when he purchased it.
Well, maybe they didn't have a car, but what's the year in? I'm trying to find like a mountain in the Andes. How about Mendoza? That's a place. I'm just trying to find the most direct route to the Andes. Okay, so from Buenos Aires to a national park in the like foothills of the mountains, it's a 15-hour drive and an 11-day hike. 3 days
That's
by bike.
and that's today with
Right.
whatever roads are there now. Who knows what it was like in 1927?
So it went, I mean, even if it did come from there, that's miles and miles and days where it was traveling, where the story could have changed. But more likely, it's not from there at all. So,
Yeah,
once again, this myth is busted.
yeah, most likely, I think.
But if you're from the area and you have a different opinion, I'd like to know. Or if you're not from the area and you have a different opinion, I'd like to know. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay, shall we move on?
Sure.